5, and 3 of those maps, well, one of them was a win, and the other 2 they lost were so close. I mean, they went 11-13 on Mirage and 14-16 in overtime on Anubis. Like, they are flirting with the upper echelons of North American Counter-Strike, but, you know, they just haven't been able to find, I guess, like you said, that piece that really pushes them beyond their current limitations, and they can't hit their true ceiling until that happens. And look, I don't want to say, I know you're leaning towards Dare not being that answer. He could still be that guy, you know? You never know what can happen over time. But I do see your point in that it's better to bring something fresh to the table instead of recycling the old tools and hoping that something new sparks together. Anyway, look, we're going to have to see what's going to happen with this Voca roster. I think we've blabbed on enough here as the match has finally gotten underway here, Paladin.
You know, all that being said, this Voca roster is still a very dangerous one in this kind of a setting.
Yes.
So Regain are definitely going to have their work cut out for them. I feel like the conversation about the veto is so irrelevant for either one of these teams. I think all of them will be comfortable on every map that we have in this best of 3. It's really just put up or shut up for the actual game plans once we actually hit the server. And Honest wants to start off the proceedings being given a lot of onus to do the job here. P250 armor and entry duties outside aiming with a flash is gorgeous there from Carson long range. And Dare will complete it with the dual Beretta. So in instant 5v4 and Regain decided to slink away.
One thing we didn't talk about either is that Voca brought Semphis. Okay, we'll talk about it after. Junior's going to get the headshot onto Honest, and it's going to be a 5v3 here. And you have Honest, excuse me, Sasha trying to come in and do something, but Dare is going to take care of him and Grape, and that will do it. Very clean round on the pistol for Voca. But I wanted to say was, you know, Semphis being brought in as a coach showed that they were getting a lot more serious. I mean, he's a guy who's not going to mess around. He's going to make sure this team is run like a tight ship. So I do think that that was a move in the right direction, but, you know, maybe they just still need that one missing piece. Who knows?
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, We'll revisit this conversation as their tournament lives progress, right? Is because I don't think this is a true test of whether or not he's the solution. Of course, we'll see how this series plays out. It might be, but yeah, in my mind, I'm thinking about, you know, upper bracket semis. I'm thinking about, can they make it to the grands? Can they play against NRG? I mean, that's the very long short of it. Is how does this team look against NRG?
Yeah, no, I agree. I hope we get that matchup. I really do. It's not a guarantee, but it's you know, I'd say there's a good chance of that actually coming through. Anyway, look, that second round was wrapped up fairly handily. Regan did not invest into it, and Voca took care of business there. And of course, guys, a huge thank you to Lorgar for providing the PCs for the main event here at the StarLadder StarSeries Fall 2026. They make some awesome PCs. You're going to want to check them out. But again, huge thank you to them. As we head into round number 3 here, Molotov's going to get tossed through that smoke and in towards Connector. It's coming through from the side of Regain. They're looking to take that mid control, but you're seeing Voca, a team that's very practiced on Mirage, looking to immediately fight into mid.
But unlike them, they'd actually decide to pull away.
Yeah,
pretty immediately. You don't see that all too often. Carson spots out a couple players in main here. Decides to play it a little bit safer. He is the only player that can really deal with any A offenses. He calls back Dare. And Dare's just on this pendulum, rocking in between window, jungle, and this A site. And a little bit of con as well. But this mid crossfire will not even really be touched by Regain. I think they're just waiting around to essentially either punish some aggression or see if they can grab some information courtesy of Zucker. Here comes the utility flying over into this A bomb site. And now Carson and Dare will look to potentially just play retake.
Yeah, maybe. Carson's tucked behind Ticket, though. I feel like he's going to have a peek here before they actually get onto the site. I'd be surprised if he just hangs back for retake. Grape actually wins the fight against Junior. So that's the first step forward. There's still 3 bodies here. Look at this flank from Snav. That could change everything. If they're not checking behind them, he gets a freebie. There's one. Perhaps even a follow-up. Yeah, and Marky on the front side takes care of Dirk while all that's going down. This could be very bad for Regain, and indeed, they do fall by the wayside. Marky and Snav get the last 2, and that's all started by Snav's flank, which results in a 3K.
That one flank basically sums up the round for Voca, and this is the issue that I have with Regain and pausing there in that kind of situation. You haven't necessarily taken any map control. You haven't really shown any mid presence. You haven't even taken apartments control either. There is nothing that Voca should feel uncomfortable about in that round. And as we've seen how aggressive they are, they will go searching for that information. And Snav pushed the issue all the way through top mid, was able to get that flank through, knife out, no reaches, no problem. And that shouldn't be allowed to happen. So this time Regain are going to cut the crap. They're going to be a little bit more aggressive, and they're going to try to go bounding into this A bomb site. But Junior's AWP is here. Snav is arriving to the scene of the crime, and there goes Dare as well. Honest just left up in a 1-on-4 with this Deagle. He has a spam connecting, but doesn't have enough time to pick up the gun. And Voca, slow, fast, it doesn't matter. This A site is under lock and key.
All right, well, let's see if Regain can start to find something here once the guns come out in round number 5. Still a nice shot to open things up for Honest, but, you know, they just didn't have much behind it. We talked about Honest being a strong player, a young gun that's coming through here, and I think with the right pieces around him, he could make a very, very big difference for a team. Also, guys, you can see that stake prediction heavily leaning towards Voca, and if you want to get that $35 bonus, you want to use code STAR35, deposit $20, and you'll enjoy a daily $5 top-up for the next 7 days. 30 on the clock here. Nice nade tossed in. A little bit of damage done against Snav. Regain. Did a lot of work, I'd say, Paladin, to really make their mark on this map.
Yeah, absolutely. And again, it's a very timid approach from Regain. These defaults are not quick enough in terms of the phases, and it's giving a lot of room for players to essentially go out on fact-finding missions and find as much information as possible to make the right dumps. Grape finds Marky though, and that is the punishment of the aggression up in the B apartment. So that changes things, and Honest punishes Snav. So all of a sudden Regain have finally quelled that aggression and look to end on that A bomb site. Voca have put all their eggs in that B bomb site basket. It leaves Carson to do everything on his own. He finds the first. There is no spacing here to potentially trade him out, and he'll double up.
That's so
There is
much
also
damage.
here at Khan, yeah, and with all that damage done, I'm sure that's been relayed over, that Junior and Dare will have a potential look in to make this round possible.
And now they might be thinking about going to the B site, perhaps. No, okay, they're going to plant A, but you see Honest kind of leaning towards the murder hole here. I don't know if he's going to have much of an impact should Dare manage to cycle around and get towards the A site. Is there a smoke? There is. And they're pretty far from the bomb. This is a bit precarious in terms of a post-plant setup, because Dare could just toss that smoke on there and try to stick the defusal. There is no kit, so he kind of doesn't really have a choice at this stage. We'll see what he decides to do. Nope, he's just going to wait, and Junior gets flanked out. Dare gets a headshot over on Grape, and no attempt at the defusal. Voca will concede the round to Regain, and Regain do indeed get their first on the board. And one thing that's been fairly consistent for them is getting opening frags. I think they've had it in the last 3 rounds. They didn't win the previous 2, but finally they're able to convert here off a nice little sequence in mid. They get that first frag, and then Snap falls in connector, which really opens up the space for them to maneuver into the A site.
Yeah, a little bit of a strange round there altogether. It just feels like a little discombobulated from Voca, but it worked out in the end for Regain. I think in their minds, they're just happy to get on the board after punishing some aggression and making sure that they can convert that 5-on-3. But still a lot of work to do for Regain, as, oh, what a flick there from Junior. Instant 5-on-4. They were hoping that Dirk could be that instant trade, but he isn't able to fire off his gun in time. That's how quick Junior can be.
Yeah, Junior's a solid opera. I've always thought of him as such. It's just that it seems like whenever he gets that that tier 1 opportunity, that he's had his problems, I guess, with nerves or just psychological. Who knows what the issue is, but he's been unable to strike true at key moments. So maybe that'll change as things go forward. Voca's going to get a few chances to play on the big stages, and one of them is right here, of course. Dare's going to get a nice headshot onto Honest. 5v3 in favor of Voca, and they've got full control at this point. I mean, Regain's kind of scrambling around this A site, but it's individual duels most of the time, and you see Zukar get one. Okay, no trade yet. Grape trying to slip through from Palace. And Regain, I mean, 45 seconds left. They're hoping that this slower play will expose more vulnerabilities in the defense of Voca, and it doesn't. Snav's going to get the headshot onto Grape. Dirk's making a ton of noise charging up, but he does get the Tech 9 headshot onto Snav. The thing is, he's got two more players to worry about, and Garson absolutely disposes of him, and he loses his teammates simultaneously, so that is the end of the round. Voca will take a 5th.
Yeah, there just seems to be different classes of teams in this server right now. I don't necessarily know if I'm seeing much of anything interesting out of Regain. The defaults don't really seem like defaults. Utility is being thrown just for throwing the utility. There doesn't really seem to be any rhyme or reason. Like, a jungle smoke's being thrown, but there isn't really scaling behind it. There isn't a flash behind it. You're going in dry through A main. You're walking into AWPs and rifle angles just free of charge. You're giving them a lot of space as well. I don't know. This is a very worrying start for Regain in this series so far, and I don't really feel like there is a turning point coming anytime soon.
Well, they do invest into this round enough for a couple of AKs, 2 Tech 9s, and a Deagle. Mid control gained. Snav, the only one hovering around mid right now. A very heavy B lean for Voca as it stands. And Dare hiding in this smoke as Carson gets the first. If they try to charge up now and they don't wait for the smoke to fade, Dare will have a massive advantage against them. Well, he might still have an advantage against Sasha anyway. He gets the first. Honest trades him out. But now they know that Honest is here, and Nade's going to land right next to him, doing 19 damage. And Honest continues to hover around. Marky's about to peer over, but in the meantime, Snap from jungle gets himself a 2-piece. Honest does manage to get one, but Junior's waiting right around that corner to ensure that he does not take another step forward. Voca secure another.
Yeah, that's great work there from Dare through that con side. It just feels like now even the spacing's a little worrying. And sorry, Snav rather. Snav with that 2-piece.
Yes.
My fault. But all that being said, it just feels as though the spacing now is also off. What's not off? ATK gear. We have a giveaway for 8 mice. And if you click the banner below, I do believe you can enter that giveaway. So definitely check that out. Have the opportunity to do that. And jump right back into the action here in round number 8. Regain with the buy. Go for a full A execution. This time off rip. They want to go straight into this defense, and they've gotten themselves an entry. But can they capitalize on that?
What?
Yes, they can, John. A kill straight through the smoke for Dirk. We got Sasha off the mark. He's finally got a kill in this game. But Marky has found 2 through the smoke. Okay, surely that's it. Surely that's it. The nade gets kicked open. Spam is decent, and Marky gets another and lives. Oh my god, look at the damage that he's done. That's fantastic.
That's yeah, go ahead.
Wow. I mean, it's just such a strange round.
It really is, honestly. Marky somehow getting 3 through that smoke and around it is pretty wild, but Regain still managed to hang on despite the fact that Marky's doing all of that damage. I thought right there would be an opportunity for them to strike true, but then there's the kill right back through the smoke by Regain that changes things entirely. So a second round for Regain. But Voca, they still got enough money to invest into this one. Dare settling for an MP9, but everyone else has got the MP4s, and of course Junior on the off. What a flashbang approach here for Snav to charge up and try to do some damage. He does with the rifle, and of course tosses the nade as a chaser to get Dirk down to 28 HP, but still no casualties to speak of. However, throughout all of that chaos, Snav has moved his, Dare has moved his way up towards Kitchen. He's holding a very close angle with this MP9. Zukar could be in a lot of trouble if he doesn't hard clear this right angle, which it appears he's going to, and he does take care of business. So that's good for Regain to get the opener, but now Marky's got a little bit of information to work with.
And he can do some great work in isolated positions. I have seen him anchor quite a good job in terms of his career. I have another opportunity here, but I mean, all he gets is a dink. That's how good Honest can be on the entry pathing. He does get taken down by Snav, but that was the low HP player. Snav has still got a lot of work to do. And he's got to do it, I would say, alone, but Carson's here to chime in. Zucker and Dark now have to piece this one together, and they're both hurting desperately. That bomb is now dropped on the back of the bomb site as well, so they're going to have to find a way to dig through that, and they're going to have to figure out where Snav has gone off to, because he's hiding straight in the smoke, and it's gotten straight in between two different players rather. Snav takes significant damage, switches over the AWP, and finds Zucker as well. Blinder of a job there from Snav, and that's just some of the work that he can do as a captain. He calls and he can frag.
I told you, Snav loves Mirage. I've seen some of his best performances on this map, and this one clearly no exception. Grabbing the AWP in that instance, very unorthodox weapon for him, but he makes it work beautifully. I mean, we have to see that again, of course, as Marky falls, but then Snav comes to life. Carson supporting, but Snav, I mean, needed his help to absorb some damage, I suppose, but he does all the work by himself. Was that an ace? Or was there a frag before? I think he got all of them.
Wow. Yeah, I mean,
yeah,
it would happen everywhere. That's the coolest part about that ace, or I guess supposed ace. I'm not sure. He's 17-3 right now.
Yeah, it's
absolutely
insane.
obscene.
What is this, KD? 5.67 KDR.
It makes the graphic look like wrong almost because it's so high.
Wow. Well, Regain can't be happy about that. They win a round, they lose another right afterwards, and they will be half buying here, even though it yields them an AK and a Galil. Another opener. I mean, Zukar finding it onto Snav. Now Grape gets there with the deagle. Okay, this is actually getting kind of interesting.
And full mid control grabbed. Guns picked up as well. Dark searching for it on top con, and he gets that A4 pretty much unscathed, so more opportunities for Regain to claw themselves back into this one. Grape now checking for the flank up in top mid. That fight on a Carson is going to be a very important one. They both found out each other. A big kill in the grand scheme of things, and Carson will come out on top. He takes significant damage and smartly backs all the way up. If he can go all the way back into this A site, it's going to force Regain to burn a lot of time off the clock and essentially commit to this A site.
35 seconds left. I mean, yeah, you're committing to the A site, but you're also giving Voca time to readjust their approach here, their defense, I should say. Carson waiting on default. This could be disruptive. Junior finds the first onto Honest, and Carson just hiding in the shadows, waiting for his opportunity to strike. The snake in the grass. Carson will get the frag onto Sasha. They're trying to flip the tables. Dirk maintaining control for now, but there's only 12 seconds left. They have to get this bomb planted. I don't know if they're going to be able to. Marky spotted out. It's all up to Junior. 6 seconds now. They're trying to stick the plant. He's swinging around. They got it planted, and Zukar gets the headshot. Regain do indeed find a way across the finish line, despite things looking promising for Voca on the defense.
Not bad. Not bad at all there from Regain, capitalizing on a difficult situation, and stake odds giving a little bit more of an edge back over to Regain. And of course, if you want that extra edge off a stake, you can always use code STAR35 to get a couple of top-ups and extra bonus cash as well. So definitely want to check that out when you guys get the time. And look at that. Look at what it's done to the money of Voca. It forced them into a very awkward purchase. And it's going to have to be this way, especially if they lose this one as well. So a real chance for Regain to flip the script and edge closer to making this one a competitive one.
I've seen Voca pull off some crazy rounds when they get forces like this. So I don't know if things are going to go the way Regain are hoping. But certainly it would be, you know, a 7-5 scoreline at the half is fantastic given the way this one started. If they can get there, which requires them winning 3 in a row. Marky, ready and waiting over on this B site. Smoke is out, but hasn't thrown it yet. He wants to spot something before he uses that utility. It's precious util, right? Because they didn't have that much heading into this round, given the limited economy. Regain are going to walk their way to B, and Voca's sending 3 players here. This could be a bit of a brawl.
You can. I mean, that Molly does a lot of great work to flush these players out. Puts them in weird positions, but Marky still nails the shot. Has more opportunity with this Deagle, and he's gonna have to nail them, but it runs out of bullets, and he only finds some body shots. But luckily, there's been so much damage done that these MP9s can still put in some work. There's another player crossing over into that get-right position, but Carson isn't able to connect it all together. There's still a flank brewing, though. Snav, okay, well, given his position up at this point, maybe they just want to back out, considering they have no kits. But that could have been costly for Regain. They were lucky to get out of that one pretty much unscathed.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if unscathed is the word I would use there, Paladin, given Dirk and
slightly
Grace.
scathed.
Yeah, slightly
scathed.
There you go. 18 HP combined. That was a moment away from disaster, and I think that nade off the Carson really, helped deter Voca from going for anything more. Carson will get one more on the tail end, but he falls, and the important part here for Voca, I think, is that the AK is saved over, so it'll allow this last buy-up to be a little more potent, but at the end of it, it will finally be 2 rounds in a row here for the side of Regain, and they're one step closer to a decent half.
Well, this FAMAS, this AK, it's going to have to do some wonders, and Snap considering that aggressive maneuver out in the middle, and he has to think better of it. So much util in his face, and so much unbridled aggression from Regain on the other end. Honest has gotten up in a window, trying to see if he can cause a bit of a ruckus. He's not able to find anything just yet. Eventually, as the smoke fades, he should be able to find Snap, and that's that rifle gone. Dare's going to try to scoop it up himself, and he does. We'll be able to get out free of charge. But how can he find some impact now that he's smoked off in jungle as well? Because they're going to go charging up this con side. And Dare's considering about going through the smoke. He's definitely considering it. He's just figuring out if he has a teammate nearby. But finally, he thinks better of it. He'll move back over. He's got Carson still waiting here in A main. Carson does find that kill on the Grape. Now Dirk also not turning around just yet. Finally does switch around with that Tech 9. It leads it all to Marky, and Regain have done it. They've clawed this all the way back to a 7-5 deficit as we throw it to this through this break.
All right, we're back into it here, getting ready for the second half of action. A nice recovery by Regain on the tail end, winning the last 3 rounds of the first half to make that one a lot closer than it felt leading up to that point anyway, because Voca really were in full control until Regain was able to get that last little bit of effort at the end of the half. But look, there's still work to be done because Voca are a very tenacious team when it comes to their attacking side.
Yeah, absolutely. I've seen some dangerous things from this Voca squad, but they have lightened up a little bit. Regain clawing back some really important swing rounds. Of course, I don't feel like they've had some crazy resurgence from any one of these players per se, but they're getting the job done, and unfortunately, this round doesn't start off as great as they were hoping, as kills happening all over the shop, but finally, Regain pull a couple back, just one. Voca now in pole position to get themselves both pistols in this game.
Oof.
Unless.
Grape. Nice shot to the head of Dare. I mean, look, it's going to take a lot still to get them back into this. So they do have the bomb control. I mean, everyone's collapsing in from Voca on towards Zukar. He's going to have to hit all his shots, and he can't. Zukar's gone. Grape on the other side, 19 HP. Can't do anything. I thought for a moment, hey, maybe he gets a couple of laser shots to the heads, but that doesn't happen. And it will be, indeed, as you mentioned, Paladin, back-to-back pistols for Voca.
But the question is what's this response looking like from Regain on the other end? Because we can see these CT half buys, these CT force buys could still be very dangerous. And yet Regain don't want anything to do with it this time around. They're going to go for the full save. One flashbang purchased up by Sasha here. Probably be used for a late mid pop after the smoke fades. But Voca winning these pistols allows them to rattle off 4 or 5 rounds because of the momentum that they're able to gain. And I'm a bit worried for Regain's sake that might happen on the other end. We'll see how it goes because there's a lot actually hinging on this first buy round compared to other best of 3s in the region. I feel like when it comes to this team, I feel like momentum is the only game almost. It feels like there is no second dimension to Voca. It's like I'm gonna win 8 rounds in a row or nothing. Of course, we also have to thank our sponsors, Lorgar, for the official tournament PCs that we'll be seeing in the main event. And of course, still a long way to go for both of these teams to be that team to use those official tournament PCs. And here comes the B attack straight into the thick of things, as Sasha's got to do so much work figuring things out. And there are 3 players here, but they all fall like a house of cards. Zucker will try to battle his way back in, but the bomb has gone down. And Grape is still so far away, John.
I don't know about going for this. Perhaps there's some confirmed damage onto Carson Jr. Like, oh, there's a couple players lit. Maybe we can pull this back. This nade could be a determining factor in Zukar's hands. But no, they're going to fall back again. Try to. Should be able to fade off into the shadows. And there they go. Bomb going to detonate. And Voca should be able to walk away from this with 4 players alive. Or they could try chasing and really putting Regain into a difficult spot by fragging out these last 2 players, and they are indeed going to go all in on the hunt. Can they get the shots? Yes, they can. There goes Grape. Zukar will get 1 second and stays alive. All right, so 1 rifle saved at the very least, but the other player, Grape, does fall.
So, not necessarily the best case scenario there for Regain. One would argue any sort of good scenario there. Of course, they'll have a gun or 2. And in this situation, it's just about economic damage. It's just about getting something on the board. But Voca are just going to continue their rampage as they go charging into this A-bomb site. Oh, but that does slow things down. Their own molly at their feet. And it does actually separate Carson. He still finds 1 somehow. That's a little bit more damage on a Dirk. But it feels like Voca are knocking on the door of this 11th as well.
Yeah, they absolutely. Unless something crazy happens, which Sasha could be starting here. Honest waiting towards Ticket. They know he's here because of that smoke that's been tossed. See the Molotov from Connector. So both players' positions pretty much confirmed here for Voca. So they know where to look. It's a matter of timing. Getting that bomb planted would certainly help to continue applying the pressure to Regain. And Sasha slipped around to jungle, but he's lost his team. There goes Honest. Sasha manages to get the headshot onto Marky. Bomb's still not planted here. That's giving Sasha a little more maneuverability, but eventually he will fall. Nice flashbang thrown from Snav to set up Junior for the final frag.
Lincoln, you miss it, John, and it just feels like Voca have run away with this one, and as I kind of mentioned, you lose that first buy round, and it just feels like so doomed when this team can just walk out into any bomb site and do whatever they want. It's like the world is their oyster. You've got Carson walking out of A main to get 2. You have that first buy round where they essentially just pop out of the B apartments and find 3 kills out of nowhere. A lot of this lies upon Honest and Co on Regain right now, but Carson again with another double entry. And this time around, Junior chimes in on that A side as well. So this round has been done in 30 seconds, less than 30 seconds.
I mean, there doesn't even necessarily feel like there's a rhyme or reason to the approach. Just like, hey, go take fights. go charge up mid. Go fight in A main. Go into Palace. So it just works out for Voca, and Carson tends to thrive in a bit of chaos, and you see that there. Junior are going to get the last, and it will be a 12th round for Voca. I want to say without much fuss, but there was quite a bit of action in that round. It just happened so quickly.
Yeah, I don't think our finest observers or analysts or pundits could really describe that round to you. Yeah. But I can describe our ATK gear giveaway. 8 mice being given away. You click on our banner, so definitely check that out when you get the chance. As Voca look to turn the screws out of this first map of Mirage. 1 for 1 goes Carson. And there's a Marky right before the smoke blooms, and he's looking to just charge through. A little overzealous if I do say so myself, but still have a 3-on-3. And you've got another player willing to buy in on this ridiculousness. As Junior finds himself one more. And Dare will find what seems to be the second to last nail in the coffin. It's just Sasha remaining here. 49 HP to his name, a doable 1-on-2, but no kit, and he's got to find a way to book it to this A bomb site.
I think there might be a kit dropped somewhere along the way here, but he has to recover that and then get the 2 frags and defuse the bomb. It feels like too tall of a task, and it already is, because Dare has gotten the final headshot. Voca win map number 1. 13-5, a very convincing victory, of course. The second half started off very well for them, but at the end of the first half, it looked a bit questionable, right? But they're still able to recover and really continue to look downs. And the only loss is to M80, understandably so. M80 are a very strong team, but that was back in May, on May 29th. Their most recent match was against Regain. Yeah, that was a 13-5 win here on Dust2, which they just had on the previous map, Mirage. So I don't know. Given what we saw there, I'm not sure much is going to change based on the previous engagement on the map and, of course, the previous map we just saw. But hey, you never know. Counter-Strike always delivers some magic, and maybe we'll get some here as we jump into the second map of play.
Let's get into it. Paladin and John JRT on the mic in our second map of play here in this upper bracket quarterfinal. We still have one more after this coming up tomorrow. But for right now, Voca and Regain looking to lock horns on Dust2. Dirk peering over this catwalk to see if he can get an early edge, but not to be. It's Voca out long. Looking to potentially punish some re-aggression here from the CT side. Flash is beautiful. Sasha can't dodge it. And sure, Dirk can, but he falls. And Dare will be that late linchman, that late lurk to cut off one more. Dare picks up the dual Berettas, and he'll find another, and he'll get one more through the boxes in CT spawn. And that's another pistol there for Voca.
Yeah, I think this is, look, Voca looking incredible on the pistols. Dare's all smiles, and he's happy with the results so far. But what we were saying at the beginning of this BO3 is Regain really decided to go to Voca's best maps. It's a bit of a risk to do that, but sometimes you got to try to take those risks and hope it turns out. So far, Mirage didn't work out. That first round of Dust2, it's just pistol, but you feel like Voca have got something going on right now that may not be able to be touched by Regain. Anyway, looking towards this B site. Regain have not forced up once, in fact, after losing pistol. They didn't do it on either of the sides on Mirage, and haven't done it here either, which tends to go... I don't want to say it goes against the meta, Paladin, because it's not necessarily a guarantee that teams are going to force up, but usually you want to give it a shot on your CT side.
I mean, these rounds and these halves are still ending up in the 0-4 column anyways, so...
Yeah, you might as well give it a try, right?
Yeah. It's a very odd situation at hand for Regain. I feel like it gives too much respect at a certain point. Now, Voca get up catwalk, smoke themselves off. I think they spot most of what's going on the other end. Smoke should come up. They should be able to get their way in just fine, and you know what? They're not gonna plant the bomb. They'll go for kills instead. So Honest will get a freebie, and Voca get themselves their second round in a row. It's all smiles. It's all laughs in the Voca camp right now, John.
Yeah, not a surprise either. They haven't been necessarily challenged that much. I feel like they're playing a very puggy style of Counter-Strike right now. Haven't really had to dig too deeply into their strat book, which, I mean, is good news, I guess, at the beginning of the tournament. But another bit of good news is that Lorgar is, of course, providing the official tournament PCs here for StarLadder StarSeries Fall 2026. Once we get to the main event, they've got some awesome PCs. You're going to want to check them out. And again, thank you to them for taking care of us and getting those PCs over for StarLadder StarSeries. All right, let's go. See what happens here in round number 3. Carson. We'll get that Molotov tossed over towards Cat. Guns are finally out here for Regain, but it's not that great. You have 2 FAMASas in the mix, and no AWP available just yet. Flashbang thrown towards Cat that keeps Carson at bay. But you imagine that Voca are going to make their move quickly. They really haven't been that slow about their approach on their T sides.
Yeah, this time around, they've gotten themselves Cat very early, so they can do whatever they want. It seems like, as you mentioned, pace is the name of the game. Instant Cat execution and an instant targeting of these 3 riflers. Beautiful entry there from Snap, and a gorgeous flashbang. I'm surprised it didn't net in Zucker's death, but there it is, finally. And you've got the 3rd rifler in Sasha bounding all the way back in long. It should be an instant save call at this point.
It's not, though? They're still fighting a bit. I mean, yes, they are going to save, but maybe fighting a little more forward than they should. Honest is dead. All right. Sasha, the last one available. He will die, too, more than likely, because he's fighting forward. And there you go. Snap takes care of business. No guns saved over at all. Voca relentless on the hunt. And they've got a 3-0 lead. Likely another 4-0 start for them, replicating their performance on Mirage.
It doesn't seem like Regain are really checked into this series. It has been so difficult for them to really get locked in. And frankly, they just haven't had the time to, because these rounds are ending so fast. More aggression outside long here. Flashes seem to work wonders. It pushes off Sasha in the long corner angle. And he'll back all the way up. It's 3 different players on this catwalk. I don't mind it, considering how heavily Voca likes to focus on this pacey mid-control into the cat control right after. But Regain will just hold strong. They're not going to go too far forward. They're not going to re-clear mid. None of the sort. They're just going to hold on to this 3-player setup here on the catwalk.
I mean, Voca have full control of long. It's just a matter of when, not if, they're going to execute towards this A site. Let's see if Junior can catch anyone towards Cat. We'll get an opportunity here very soon. He's going to come in to be the surprise element. While the main attack moves in from long. Well, Junior's like, oh, there's Honest, and then there goes Honest. Marky taking care of that. Zukar managed to get 1 frag, but that is all that will likely come through for Regain in this round, as Grape remains the last standing towards mid. Fires off a deagle shot. Now they know where he is, so they're just going to hunt him down as they plant the bomb, and there you have it. There will take care of business, and it is indeed, as predicted, 4-0 for Voca.
Well, 3 out of the 3 first 4 rounds have all been in Voca's favor. Paints a very bleak picture for Regain if they want to ever claw back into this one. But they will have guns out again, and this time they're going to go into the double op setup. Dirk and Grape donning the big greens. And the odds continue to balloon out of Regain's favor. But if you do believe in them, weekly reload of $35 can be unlocked with our code STAR35, so definitely check that out in your own free time. Things go from bad to worse as Dark looks to swing into Snav's crosshairs and he gets a face full of lead. Honest, the same after 1. Regain now looking to hold on to this B bomb site, but Grape is going to have to do a lot of work here.
Utility's going to blind him. Oh, nice shot. Good timing onto Marky, and he stays alive. Zukar coming to support here. Grape still has another crack at it. Let's see if he can connect again. No, he can't. Carson pre-firing around that corner, takes his head off through the box, and now Zukar on the outside looking in, hoping to find something, anything to give his team a path forward, but it's not going to happen. Dare racks up his second, and Sasha's got nothing to do but back off and try to keep his gun.
As he should. He's had a very difficult series here, John. It doesn't feel like he's had the better end of a duel at all. At the very least, he'll be able to scoop up one of the AWPs, but we are now in a 5-0 deficit, and the chances of staying up in this upper bracket continue to slowly get ripped away from them ever so slightly round by round.
Alrighty, we'll see a replay of that. This is a crazy shot from Snav. And then afterwards, Grape hits a crazy one. But unfortunately for him, he's just not able to do much more because of that. Carson pre-firing, knowing that he was right there. And they deal the final blow to his teammate as well. Timeout call by Regain to talk things over. 30 seconds say, hey guys, what do we do? How do we get a response here? And Snav, again, sits at the top of the scoreboard here, doing pretty well for himself. He was really solid on Mirage, and he loves these puggy maps. Not only to call, but to play as well.
Yeah, just there's so much comfort in just finding ways to create chemistry between a couple of players, keep a very bare bones strat on the table, and let it work its magic. I mean, this has worked internationally as well. Let's not forget the great game they had against BC Game on LAN not too long ago. This was on this map, and it just comes down to nothing fancy. It's really just how much chemistry they have between any player to switch up no matter what the case is thrown at them. There is no permutation or combination of Dust2 rounds that they haven't faced already.
Dirk breaking open the smoke, not spotting anything. A lot of patience from Voca. Nice flashbang there. Dare managed to stay alive momentarily, but Zukar will eventually chase him out. Carson hoping for a trade, pops around that corner, does damage, but no kill just yet. Now finds it onto Zukar. They keep fighting Carson. Might be a mistake. Carson loves this, and he'll get 2 more! 3K for the big man, and Grape will get the trade back onto Marky. It is a 3v2, and now a 3v1. Carson is on for the ace. Let's see if he can chase down Grape and secure that elusive 5K, but he just falls short as Grape will get that headshot. Voca needs to plant the bomb.
They do. We'll get it down. But my goodness, the last thing you want to do is fight Carson in a mechanical bludgeoning. Like that's like what he loves. And it doesn't matter what the spacing is, how the fight's being taken. This guy can just go on an absolute tear. And this is the bread and butter that's going to give Voca every round on this offensive side. So talk about making things go from bad to worse if you're a Regain fan. And for Grape, I mean, what can you do but try to hold on to this gun?
That's all you can do is hope that you can keep it in your hands. Yeah, Carson, like I said before, thrives in chaos, it seems. He loves those type of situations where he can pop off and get a multi and just enter into what is a flurry of bullets in both directions. As we go into this next one, 6-0 for Voca, and it hasn't exactly looked difficult for them. I mean, you still got Dirk and Sasha sporting goose eggs. Okay, well, Dirk will get that goose egg off the board, as I mentioned it. He's like, no, I don't. There's one kill. 5v4, a rare opener here for Regain. We saw a lot of them on Mirage, but here it's been mostly Voca getting entry after entry.
Well, something to hang your hat on it for Regain. But I do believe they have this inkling on where Sasha's gone off to. This crossfire will be difficult to break down, but Snav has found the first one pretty much at ease. Carson will hit the deck. Molly to flush out Sasha, and he will fall as well. 3-on-3 ensues. They know they've pinned Grape to the back of the B bomb site, so Marky will continue to have his hand on it, and you'll find that kill as well. So this B bomb site is opened up. Honest already spotted out as well. Try to hold on for as long as possible, and you'll find Marky in the meantime. 45 seconds left on the clock. This 2v2 with Snav on the AWP will have to come together.
Seems like anyone can use the op on Voca. Oh, there gets the spot here. Gonna go for a few taps through the door. Doesn't connect on Honest. Honest comes around, gets the shot onto Snap, but Dare will indeed find the trade. So now a 1v1. Dirk spotted him out. I don't know that Dare saw him. I'm pretty sure he didn't, because he's going to this B site without much awareness of this possibility. Missed shot for Dirk, pulls out the pistol, and he does finish the job. Finally, it looks like Dirk and Regain will have their first round victory.
Look, man, that could have easily been a round lost
yeah.
as well, but luckily, fortunately, Dirk saves himself from egg on his face. Oh goodness me, there was time for Dare to pull out the AWP completely there. Either way, there is still that giveaway live. You click the banner below. 8 gaming mice available, but oh,
Damage was done.
Yeah, I think damage was done. So unfortunately, that's just the way the cookie crumbles sometimes. But you hate to see it, John.
Yeah. It's unfortunate for sure, like you said, but once damage is done, the round is live, and even if you lose a body, you have to keep playing. Dirk and Grape, last two standing. I think Snav's got a beat on Dirk here. I doubt he'll survive. Yeah, there we go. Dirk down. Grape trying to do whatever he can from the bottom of mid, and the bomb is actually still towards top mid. If Grape knew that, he'd probably be watching that direction, and now he has a look. Thing is, there's just still a decent amount of utility available for Voca to recover this, and they'll use it to do exactly that. And they'll get the final kill too. Don't even need the bomb, in fact. And I imagine we're going to have a brief technical pause to try and get that fifth player back in here for Regain.
Well, Regain definitely need this more than Voca does, I'll tell you that much.
Yeah.
No, I mean, obviously, with the fact that we need Sasha back in the server, but more so just the fact that there is no Counter-Strike being played right now, so that Regain can, like, reset, almost.
Yeah, gives them a
because
chance.
they really need
sure.
it, man. They really do.
I'm with you. Well, let's hope that it's nothing too serious for Sasha. And that'll be back. Oh, it isn't. He's back already. And we're back in. So he was able to reconnect fairly rapidly. And maybe it's not so good news for Regain because they didn't get much of a pause there as we jump into round number 9. They are going to go for that half by Grape on the scout, 3 MP9s, and Dirk on a full save. He wants to get that 8 as soon as possible. Oh, Dirk could be in trouble. He is. He's down. AK recoverable as well. Honest going to scoop that up immediately, and Marky throws the Molotov down just to keep them at bay. In the meantime, though, Snav is taking the opportunity to try and push towards this A site. Needs to hit some heads and won't. The USP doing the damage against him. And things kind of crumbling for Voca in this round. They need to be careful. I'm not even sure they're aware of the fact that Zukar is so far up. Shot miss from Junior. Marky does manage to collect a scalp, but Junior has to retreat, and he's going to walk right into the waiting arms of Zukar. He didn't see him.
Oh, okay, well.
No,
oh,
Zukar.
no.
Okay.
Oh. Well, see, this round is still not over yet, though.
No,
Bomb
no.
will be able to go down. There is a flash. There's a smoke as well for cordoning off tunnels. They're going to use it as a lurk smoke, and here comes that flash over the top. There still should be a doable round here for Regain. Just don't complicate things. It forces Carson to jostle his aim every which way, and he isn't able to get more than one, and Marky can't either. So Regain will get themselves their second, another lifeline for themselves. But oh boy. You'd like to think that overconfidence from Voca will get scaled back now.
I'm not sure that it will yet, Paladin. I think that, you know, that's just, they'll be like, oh, okay, one round went the wrong way. We could have had the shots, we didn't, and let's try it again. Because they've still got money. They've still got the money to invest here because of that huge lead that they built up without taking many casualties. So they're going to buy up again and likely go out with aplomb. We'll see. Regain, at the very least, a little bit of confidence for themselves winning a round like that with the pistols and you know, the MP9s. We'll see if it means anything. Sasha watching towards long. Util Barrage continues on the side of Voca, and Honest looks like he wants to try and get out here through double doors. Might be his undoing. Yeah, he's in a lot of trouble, and Marky finishes him off through the doors. Voca continue pressing up Cat. Flashbang toss. Zukar's not blinded at all. Dare is the one who's blindsided by that bullet. Junior does manage to get the immediate trade. Zukar around this corner, spots out a player, but oh, an airburst Molotov. That's actually to his benefit, because he's able to throw an incendiary and a smoke immediately afterwards to try and isolate this fight.
Oh, this is a dangerous game, though, for Zucker. Trying to play around it in some way. If the spam goes awry, things can fall apart. But all three of these players on the CT side, on the catwalk, hoping that this is enough to get the job done. Nade open, and Snap still finds one. Oh my god! Oh my god!
Me, man.
Listen, if you want to win this game, you cannot play Voca's game. You just cannot.
No, you're right. That is an apt point to make, because they try to. They're just going for the all-out brawls and the all-out duels. You're not going to win that. You just won't. The chaos and these types of fights will always, I don't want to say always, but 9 times out of 10, Voca's going to win those rounds. And they just showed why. Sharp shooting coming through as you can see those stake odds continue to heavily favor Voca. And don't forget, guys, as you're going to see in a moment, Carson gets a crazy shot on Dirk. Yeah. Anyway, weekly reload of 35. You can use that code STAR35 and enjoy a daily $5 top up for the next 7 days when you deposit $20 at stake. Wow, that shot was crazy from Carson, man. He just grabbed the op, went for the quick pick, and was like, okay, Junior, I did my job. Here, take it back. Wow. Oh,
Sasha will try to do something. And he will get that something and live to tell the tale. Bounds out, goes back into the B, bombs up. Here comes a long crawl. And Snap is just right there. Doesn't face anything. Gets a walk free of charge across. And now if Zucker wants to... Yeah, there's just no way. And somehow Zucker finds one. That's huge in and of itself. But this cross can happen eventually. There's still plenty of smokes to replenish. And Junior is still nailing shots in the middle of the map.
Snap could be dead though, and so is Junior in fact. Snap dies to the Molotov from thrown by Sasha, and now it's up to Carson, who is certainly up to the task, you'd imagine here. Fakes the plant, he wants to fight, he wants to brawl, and he wins it against Sasha, and then gets the spot on Grape, who's only got 24 HP. He had to hit that shot and missed it. Now Carson's gonna plant on top of the box. And what? Goes out in the open on the cross? Wow, a little overconfident there, and Grape will take it. That's a little bit of BM there. Questionable decision from Carson, but at the same time, I don't know. I can't really fault him for how well he's played so far, sitting at 12 frags. Regain do get a third for themselves.
I guess in his mind, he's thinking that he stayed on Cat, and then if he's playing game helper, then it's fine, but oh well. He basically plays the 50-50, and he flipped the coin wrong for the first time this game, it feels like. I
just feel like if you're going to flip the coin wrong, you can at least have a peak, like, jiggle around and see if anyone's towards mid instead of jumping off the site.
No, you're 100% right, but that's the Carson experience, right? You get both sides. You get the 12 and 4. Sorry, you get the 12 kills and you get the 4 deaths, is what I should say.
Well, speaking of 12, we're in the 12th round here. Voca, you know, despite some round losses coming in the mix, still look fairly confident. Oh, Dirk, if you only fired your gun there, you would have been rewarded with a freebie. How could he possibly know, though? 2 players up Cat for Voca. Pace seems pretty fast. Now's making some noise here towards long. He's going to maybe toss a flash in? No, he's going to save his flash for an entry towards Cat, potentially. Smoke recycled by Regain in that Cat position. And now Voca might just go mid to B. It may not be a bad play, although they'll have to deal with Zukar. See what they end up deciding to do. There's still plenty of time to readjust in really any position.
Mid to be smoke thrown in. Jared with the opportunity to catch some players in mid off guard, but not just yet. He'll bound up through Cat. It's this basically a split. And as soon as that 1 kill comes through, Marky can be like a late lurk at this point. This is just all bad news for Regain, and Marky's gonna find one already.
Yeah, Dirk on the site. Oh my god.
Yeah, why would you think Dare's there?
Chance. Exactly. Because Dare just charges in from Cat. He'd been waiting the whole time. I think Dare did a really good job of selling the mid to B by throwing that second smoke, because they really expect that, and 3 players were held back in that direction. So it helps them get this plant here. However, round is not over because Dare just lost his life. 2v2. All 4 players are at full health. Junior misses the op shot. He wants to pop up again and give another shot. He will connect this time. And now supporting from the other side is Carson. Carson's going to have to get this last one now because he's lost his opper. Rifler versus Rifler. Carson up against Honest, and Carson's gonna win it this time. He gets the final say. 9-3 at the half for Voca. All right, we're back into it here, getting ready for the second half of play. It's another 9-3 half in favor of Voca. I don't feel like much has changed since map number 1. It still feels like more of the same to me, Paladin.
Yeah, absolutely agree, John. I mean, this roster does have a couple of hiccups here and there, as you kind of expect from Voca, where there are just like openings that are brought simply because there's overconfidence in play. But as soon as they reel it back in, they can just do no wrong. And Regain now, first of all, they've got to win a pistol to start things off. And they've got to find a way to chain 2 rounds together. They haven't been able to do that so far on Dust 2. I don't fancy their chances necessarily. Regain now terrified of what aggression could be around the corner. Honest is sitting all the way outside of upper tunnels to try and deal with this problem. But meanwhile, his teammates are dropping in mid. Junior goes down, but so does Grape and so does Zucker.
They just can't solve Voca on these pistols. It's just like desperate rounds that they need to try and build early half momentum. Because when Voca get it, they look so good afterwards. And Snav is going to get a ripper of a headshot on towards Dirk. It's only Sasha and Honest left. Sasha's over at Gandalf here, and well, not for long. Dare takes his head off, and Carson does the same to Honest. All 4 pistol rounds won by Voca, and now they are 3 rounds away from sealing this series up.
Nearly there now for Voca, and it just felt like a matter of time more than anything. 4 out of 4 on the pistols, able to notch at least a 4-0 start off of the back of each one of those pistols. And you've got a hero scout from Dirk. Don't really see... I feel like the only other player I've seen do this is like Monacy. And that's Monacy. So...
yeah.
Odd purchase is what I'll say.
Different level of play. Carson gonna take care of Sasha and Zukar. Junior gets Dirk. Yeah, that hero scout doesn't really connect with much. And this round will be over in just a few short moments. Marky takes care of Honest, and Voca will get the 11th, only 2 rounds away now from victory. And I mean, the guns will come out at least for Regain. Maybe they'll be able to say more in this round. We'll see what kind of strat they're going to call. Looking at that ADR, look at Carson, 121 DAR. But also a reminder, folks, you can check out Lorgar for some great PCs. Thanks to them, of course, for providing the official tournament PCs here for the StarLadder StarSeries Fall 2026.
Well, Regain now. Do or die situation here, essentially. Only time they'll have rifles nearly across the board. There's no AWP here for Junior, but it doesn't really matter with how effective these rifles have been. Now, complete slowdown from this T side. Hold up outside of long, waiting for this to fade before they could potentially consider a long cross, or at least just get out of the doors and hold on to blue bin control. But Snav and Junior are here to greet them.
Oh,
ooh, good shot.
Not too shabby at all. You see Junior wanting to get away from that fight. 4 players charging into long. I doubt Regain are going to overcomplicate things too much here. Probably just going to go straight for this A hit. They've got the cap player. Junior's waiting for this, and Grape gets tagged on the shoulder a few times. Carson gets the first and the second. Junior does fall, but Carson continues to be a one-man army here for Voca. Eventually, he falls to Sasha, leaving it all up to Marky through the smoke connects, but Dirk is quick on the trade. And there you have it. Regain some signs of life with their 4th.
I mean, if that trade doesn't come through...
yeah.
We're on. We're on for that clutch, but... Luckily, Regain pull it across the line. We've got a little bit more life in this game yet. Another buy, though, for Voca. Still opless for Junior. But good chance now for Regain to get it done, or at least to cut the distance. Carson finds one to start things off, but Dirk is fighting tooth and nail alongside Grape. Carson, though, I mean, you just can't put this guy down. He gets in a pit, is able to get the reload off as well. He calls for a flash, which he does. He has another opportunity, but look at Dare. Dare's already in the back lines. He's already found the bomb in the palm of his hand. He doesn't have to shoot a bullet. Marky takes care of everything all on his own. And Honest now in a 1-on-2. I don't know how he's supposed to get past them. He's not.
He's not. Unreal. Just the individual talent that's available here on Voca is something that powers them forward in so many BO3s, and it's happening again here. Carson, he's on an absolute tear. 21 kills now. You see that through the smoke, as it's blooming, of course. While he does fall, Marky picks up the pieces and regains the advantage along with the bomb. All right. 8-round opportunities for Voca to close out this series, and the stake map winner prediction sitting at 1.01 to 10. Yep, you guys can go ahead and pick your favorite and use the weekly reload to gain $35. That's code STAR35 to get a daily $5 top-up for the next 7 days when you deposit $20 at stake. Junior? Well, he's going to deposit a couple of kills into his bank account. Zukar and Grapefall, well, he will get traded out. Still, quite the advantage for Voca, 4v3, and there isn't much regain to work with here in terms of firepower.
Not at all. Really is all honest. Rifle picked up for Sasha, though. And that's a key piece to have, that extra rifle. They've still got enough of utility to potentially piece something together, but look at this re-aggression from Snav and Carson. Looking to boost over this piece of utility. And potentially catch out this lower player. Sasha hasn't shown his face just yet, but it's only a matter of time. There it is. The head is spotted. Oh,
okay.
But a couple of kills come out from the other side of the equation. Long kills found, but just Dirk. And he's been found. 13-4. Absolute domination here from Voca in this upper quarterfinal. They'll march along and look to play against the winner of Chicken Coop and Sportsbet Expert. And I'm excited to see how that goes because this Voca team is on a tear right now.
Yeah, they're looking solid, and it's to